Hello and welcome back to my next little tutorial. In this one I'm going to use a dice again, but I'm actually going to do it a little bit different. And so the way, instead of having our um, numbers appear on our microbit, we're going to have dots appear based on the dots that would be similar to a dice. And so here we have sort of 6 dots lit up. This one's got 4. And so we know that this side is 5. As opposed to when we shake this, we see the number 4 come up. Well, we're actually going to have it so that instead of the number 4 come up, that 4 dots are going to light up for this one. All right, so we're going to go ahead on our makecode.microbit.org. We're going to go ahead and create a new project. So we're going to call this one dice, but with dots. All right. So now we're going to use the same sort of technique as before, or as you would with a dice. You're going to have an input with shake. And we're going to actually get rid of these on, start, and forever. And just like before, when we're using our math, we're going to have a display block. But we're also, and we're gonna pick a random number in here. So the same sort of program will be here, but we're actually going to need to change this a little bit, because instead of having us just display the number, so if I was to do this 1, 2, 6, and we do the shake, just wait for it to reload, and we shake it. So we just see the number 1, the number 6. It's just showing us that number. But we want to display the dots that represent that number. And so we actually need to keep track of that number, and then we can compare that to a number, and then we can put that number of dots. So we're actually going to need a variable in this case. So we're going to create a variable, and we're going to call it number. So we're going to set number. So this is right at the beginning. We're going to set number to that number. All right, so a variable is a placeholder, and so we're going to use that to tell us what the number is, and then we can say, well, if it's the number 1, display 1 LED. If it's the number 2, display 2 LEDs. And so we're going to go through that process now. And so I used there's a term that I used, or a word that I used, if. And so an if statement is what we use in computer science to help us decide, or what are called conditionals. And so I'm going to grab this if true, then. And so if something is true, then this will happen. So if it's sunny outside, maybe wear a hat or wear sunscreen, or have sunglasses. And so what we need to do here is that if the number is equal to 1, we're going to have 1 LED turn on. And so we need to, again, go back into logic. Just down below here, there's a comparison statement. And so this comparison statement, you'll see it's shaped like a hexagon, and it can fit right inside of there. And so this statement will be checked. They're going to check that, our program's going to check that statement. So we don't want to worry about 0 equals 0. We want to see if number equals 1. Let's start with 1. And then we can go ahead and display our LEDs. I'm just going to zoom out a little bit. This is going to get pretty long, pretty big here. And we just want 1 LED to go on. So if we can go ahead and test this out. We're going to keep shaking until we get the number 1, because everything else, it's not going to do anything. Oh, there we go. We got number 1. So our number 1 works. But we want to make it so that from 1 to 6 works all the time. And so what we can do, there's this plus right here. I'll make it a little bit bigger here. There's a plus that we can add another else or an else if statement. And so these else and else if statements help us to have multiple conditions. And so the condition that number equals 1 LED. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to right click on this one, or if you're on a Macintosh, it's a 2-finger click. Grab this down here and go 2. So again, I'm going to duplicate this. Now, if I just look over and remind myself what 2 lit up will be, it's sort of 2 like that. So I'm going to go ahead and do this for 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so let's go ahead and do that. So again, we got this one is 3. This one is 4. So again, just duplicating 5, and then I can put this one here. So number 3 sort of looks the same as a number 2. It just has that middle one filled in. And then we've got a number 4. Has got 4 corners. So I'm sort of going to focus on the middle 3 by 3 here. Sorry. Got that one. And then if I duplicate this, it looks like my 5. Just have to fill in that last one. And now the last one here, an else statement. And it's pretty long here. So the else statement on here, it represents the only thing that's left over. And so if we pick a random number between 1 and 6, and 1 is going to be 1, 2 is going to be 2, 3 is going to be 3, 4 is going to be 4, 5 is going to be 5. Well, the only thing left over is 6. And so what we can do is we don't need to have the if number equals 6. This is sort of a catch-all that is going to be the number 6. All right. So now that we have that, we can shake it, and then we see that we got a number 2, number 3, number 4, number 3, number 6. All right. So let's go ahead. We're going to download this onto our microbit. You can't really see the code that great, but I'll zoom out a little bit. Even then, it gets pretty long. But hopefully you can get an idea of it. While we're downloading, you can have a nice snapshot of it, or pause the video at any point while I was building it. And then now that we've got our download complete, if we go ahead and shake our microbit, you'll see that number 2. So if I shake my dice, number 1, microbit wins. Number 1, well, this is going to be tough. 2. There we go. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. So, as you can see, nice little setup here, and it will actually give you the dots representing the dice and not just the numbers on there. All right. So, again, I want to thank you for watching and being a part of this series. If you have any questions or comments or suggestions, please feel free to let me know. If not, happy coding. Bye for now.